Judicial Watch had a tremendous victory last week. A federal court ruled that Hillary Clinton has to testify to Judicial Watch attorneys about her emails, what she was told about it, how she was managing her records and things like that, the Benghazi attack records. She also, of course, opposed this, but the court overruled her. Cheryl Mills, her top aide at the time, and then the lawyer involved in destroying the emails, also has to come in and testify to Judicial Watch as well. There are two other witnesses that we are seeking to testify that the court ordered testify. And on top of that, we were authorized to issue a subpoena to Google to try to get the email records that one of Clinton's email vendors may have sent to Google. So a big victory on behalf of the rule of law, accountability. We had to overcome objections from the State Department, the Justice Department, Hillary Clinton, her colleague Cheryl Mills, and but we got the victory. It was many years in the making in some ways. So the judge ruled that we had to depose her within 75 days. He set the discovery period within 75 days. So our lawyers immediately reached out to Mrs. Clinton's lawyers to get a time, and we weren't getting any response, but we did get the response today. It was a petition for writ of mandamus filed by Hillary Clinton and Cheryl Mills, or lawyers for each of the witnesses, with the U.S. United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. So a mandamus action is, I guess, not technically an appeal, but practically speaking, you can think of it as an appeal. They're trying to get the court to step in a dramatic fashion to overturn a lower court ruling that Mrs. Clinton and Cheryl Mills have to testify. And literally, it just came in a few minutes ago, I think less than an hour ago or so. So I haven't been able to review it completely. But generally speaking, it looks weak. It looks weak. It looks like a desperate effort by Mrs. Clinton to avoid answering any questions, any tough questions about the Clinton email scandal. Now, of course, she was questioned by the FBI, not under oath, to be clear. And she was questioned by Congress. But no one questioned her in any significant way on the FOIA, how she understood her email system to be run, who was advising her as to what to do, what did she think was happening to all of her emails, what was the basis for that. The court wants a serious set of questions asked directly of Mrs. Clinton. And of course, rather than just submit to the questioning as directed by the court, they're appealing it through this writ of mandamus to the upper court, the appeals court. So this is what happens in federal court. You've got your lower court judges, like Judge Royce Lamberth, who ordered the ruling, or issued the ruling. And then above that, you have your district, you have your appellate court, your appeals court judges, typically known as circuit courts. And so they've moved it upstairs to appeal. And I don't think there's much chance it will succeed. What's interesting about the case is that Mrs. Clinton seems to suggest that the records she had were not subject to FOIA. She took them all. And so when we asked for them, they weren't at the State Department. So too bad, Judicial Watch. No FOIA applies here. And she's also pointing to a case that, believe it or not, the Trump administration brought to protect Hillary Clinton. We actually we brought the case, but the Trump administration took the position, the Sessions Justice Department and the Pompeo and State Department took the position that they shouldn't have to do anything to get any more records for Hillary Clinton. Not even send a letter from the State Department to the Justice Department alerting the Justice Department to the records issues. So the court saw all of this noise, at least the lower court saw that Judicial Watch should obtain all sorts of information and new information about Hillary Clinton's email system, that she was warned repeatedly, that in fact now we're getting that the Justice Department, Justice Department and FBI were finding new Clinton emails as recently as a few months ago. And instead, that Mrs. Clinton is going to the appellate court and saying, this case is moot. Moot, meaning no controversy, no case, it's all over. And Judge Lamberth, looking at the record, had called that position preposterous. And you know who else held that position? The Justice Department and the State Department. So I have to say I was surprised that Mrs. Clinton sought this desperate review of the upper court. And, you know, I say it's desperate. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but who knows how the courts are going to rule. But it just shows you that Judicial Watch has to fight tooth and nail for every piece of information on the Clinton email scandal. We get a dramatic, historic ruling that Hillary Clinton has to be questioned under oath. It's pretty clear-cut. The evidence is overwhelming that she should be questioned directly by Judicial Watch. But still, the process allows her to appeal it in this fashion, and which is what she did. The question is there any merit to the appeal? Is there any merit to this writ of mandamus petition that she's filed? We don't think there is. And who also filed it was Cheryl Mills, who was her enabler, not only at the State Department, but help her destroy the emails when she was her lawyer after the fact, which is just rich. I mean, she knew, Mrs. Mills knew about the FOIA, knew about her email system while she was at the State Department, and then became the manager for Mrs. Clinton in terms of turning those records over and then destroying some of them once she became her lawyer in the private sector. Unbelievable. Of course, Mills received a immunity grant from the Justice Department during the email mess. So the judge, in response to that, was furious. He said, I don't understand. I was surprised that they did that, because he had found in a prior case Judicial Watch had with the Clinton White House, this goes back years, where emails went missing, that Hillary Clinton was directly involved in. She was a defendant in that case. It was the FBI files case, that Mills had committed perjury. That was his finding. And he says, I don't understand why the Justice Department would then go ahead and give her immunity. So these are the folks that we're battling in court. And remember, going back, what the judge wants. He wants to know that Hillary Clinton used the system to evade FOIA. Was the court being gamed by the Justice Department and State Department, or hoodwinked into trying to shut this case down before they told us about the emails? And thirdly, where are all the other emails? Where are the other emails? And he rightly says Hillary Clinton may have answers to some of these questions and should be asked questions directly on it. You know, we've asked questions of other witnesses. Yuma Abedin, remember Yuma Abedin? She also had an email account on Hillary Clinton's secret email system. And we're asking Abedin questions like this, and Abedin says, I don't know, you got to ask Mrs. Clinton. So that's what we want to do here. And so you've got this extraordinary development of Mrs. Clinton being, having to be deposed, and now this desperate ploy by her lawyers to stop that from happening. So I don't know how this is going to work out in terms of timing. Under the court's original ruling, we were supposed to question her by May 16th. So the appeal may push us past that date, depending how quickly the appellate court acts here. And it's hard to tell. They could, in theory, just dismiss us out of hand, or they could set a briefing schedule, and we don't know how quick that briefing schedule will be. So I'll keep you updated. I mean, it's a big victory. If Mrs. Clinton thought it was a win for her and she wasn't nervous about the testimony, I don't think she'd be doing this gambit before the appellate court. So if you're, look, the fact that we're here is tremendous, and I thank you for your support that gets us here, but it shows you that you can never stop supporting Judicial Watch, frankly, because the battles are always happening. If it's not one thing, it's another. And so Hillary Clinton is a major figure in our American public life, but it looked like she abused her position at the State Department in terms of upending the Freedom of Information Act, and that's just the most mild interpretation of her actions there. So Judicial Watch has been in the forefront of uncovering, not only uncovering the email scandal, but actually questioning witnesses in a way that the FBI actually had to follow our lead on. Did you know during the FBI investigation of the Clinton email case, they were using Judicial Watch FOIA documents to question witnesses? Did you know that? So the big question is what the State Department's view is going to be on this now. Are they going to take no position, or are they going to come again in on the side of Hillary Clinton? What's ironic about this, as I said, they're highlighting previous Justice Department efforts to defend her as reason that we shouldn't question her. So this is what's frustrating at times about this situation, is that the Justice Department under this administration and the State Department under this administration has opposed us at every corner, at every pass, in terms of protecting Hillary Clinton. Everything we've done, they've opposed. Every step we've taken, they've opposed. To try to get more answers through discovery, they've opposed. To try to get the State Department to send a letter to the Justice Department saying, what about all these records? They opposed. Asking them to do their job to conduct a damage assessment of the potential leakage of classified information, some of which was the most sensitive in nature on her system. They opposed that. This was not the Obama Justice Department, and this is one of the reasons President Trump gets upset about the way the Justice Department is being run, because he sees this is going on. And if I were him, I would direct them directly to stop defending Hillary Clinton and start working with the courts and Judicial Watch as appropriate to get to the bottom of this scandal. So we'll see how the appellate court rules. I don't have any time. I mean, we just got the filing a little bit ago, but we'll keep on fighting. And in the meantime, our other discovery will proceed. We'll get the subpoena out to Google. We'll depose these other witnesses from the State Department who were tech people, who either were in a position to know about what the State Department and the Secretary of State's office knew about Clinton's email system and things like that. And secondly, their response to Judicial Watch's Freedom of Information Act requests, which, by the way, was about Benghazi. And I know this sometimes gets lost because you hear emails, emails, emails. The reason we uncovered the emails is because we were investigating Benghazi. And as a result of our investigation, there was the appointment of a select committee by the House of Representatives. That was Trey Gowdy's committee. And we uncovered the Clinton emails. Our investigation into Benghazi was the most historically significant non-governmental investigation in American history. No doubt about it. And it's so significant that it continues to uncover scandals and crime and corruption to this day. And this is, in my view, why Hillary Clinton doesn't want to be deposed by Judicial Watch. Because she knows we're competent. She knows our lawyers are top-notch. If you haven't watched my interview with Ramona Kotka, who's our lead lawyer on the case, I want you to please watch it. It's over on YouTube, our YouTube channel, on Facebook and elsewhere as well. You can see they don't want us questioning Mrs. Clinton. We're not Peter Strzok and the FBI. We're not members of Congress who are limited to 5-minute rounds of questions that can be sloughed off by Hillary Clinton quite easily, or frankly any competent witness. Sustained questioning over the course of a day or so is something that Mrs. Clinton doesn't want to be involved with, hence this dramatic court filing by Hillary Clinton today. We are in court against Hillary Clinton.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all the latest news from Judicial Watch.